So with the influx of thousands and thousands of new people, the area of Midland, Odessa is trying to keep up with housing. There are man camps, there are apartments going up everywhere, new construction housing. But how much does it cost? We're hearing stories of 2-bedroom apartments costing more than $2,000 a month. And some say that's not even the start of it. But what about the teachers? What about the service industry workers? What about the hospital workers? Everyone else who lives here who may not work in oil, also having to pay those inflated prices. This is Drilling Midland, presented by Ardco Equipment. Welcome to Midland. Some would call it a boomtown, and it's the current hotspot of drilling for the U.S. oil industry. We're in the storied Permian Basin, specifically the Midland Basin. It's also where hundreds of oil field workers from Acadiana are making their living since the downturn of deep water drilling.
You see all kinds of license plates here, and you have a lot of people here who haven't been here. And one of the interesting things about Midland as a community is how it was built, with just the amazing generosity of those early families who built the first office building so people would have a place to office, that built the first hotel so they would have a place to meet, and their families are still here.
Kathy Shannon is the director of the Permian Basin Petroleum Museum, an expansive facility that shows the whole history of the oil and gas industry in Texas. And I mean the whole history, starting back in the prehistoric days where present-day West Texas and New Mexico were covered in water as the Permian Sea. But now the water's been replaced with 18-wheelers and drivers intent on making their living here. 2-bedroom apartments leasing for $2,500 a month. High school graduates making $100,000 a year. The thousands of people taking a toll on the way of life in Midland, forcing locals to question whether or not to stay here themselves.
But we have such stress on our schools, on our hospital, on our infrastructure, on our roads. There's not enough housing, and so the gouging on the apartment prices. I mean, we pay the highest price for gasoline in the entire state. I'm getting ready to leave town and head towards Austin, and I'm going to fill up somewhere between here and there because it's cheaper.
There's a ton of activity in Midland, but they experience ups and downs just like any other oil town. Currently, they're having a hard time filling service jobs. Since we've been here, we've already seen signs offering thousands of dollars in sign-on bonuses. It's a welcome sight here. But Kathy told us stories from the 80s, which, if you were in Lafayette during that time, will sound very, very familiar.
Well, the 80s was really tough. 2006 was tough, but the 80s, literally, you could drive through town and see partially started buildings that just were abandoned, partially started homes that they just walked away from. It's tough, and I do believe now that because the industry is so technology-driven, it will be a slightly smoother ride. I am not going to stand here and tell you there won't be a bust, because you've got OPEC. You've got a big player in there that we have no control over.
So how long will the oil last? There were people who were warned not to get into oil because in 20 years or so there wouldn't be any more oil. Well, here we are in 2018, and this area is booming. They're building houses as fast as they can, all sorts of alternative housing options, yet people here still long for the Midland they love.
The nice thing is having this influx of young people to come in, and it just makes it vibrant. And so we're really excited that these younger folks are coming back and moving in and having their families here. And looks like they're in for the long haul.
The Midland-Odessa area is packed with temporary workers, but they have to eat here. They have to be entertained here, and they send money home to support families in Louisiana. They support a whole economy here in Midland. But the locals want the workers to treat Midland as if it's their own hometown.
We would love to have that happen. We really would. And it's just different.
On the next episode of Drilling Midland, Ralph Mackingvale, president of Permian Lodging. He's a veteran of the Louisiana oil field who has found his place in the heart of the Permian Basin oil boom. He calls it the best business climate for oil and gas he's ever seen. Drilling Midland, presented by Ardco Equipment. When the only road is no road, it's Ardco Equipment. Travel consideration provided by Cetera advisor Chris Quibido. Make your money work for you. Call him at 337-205-6656. And A&P Electric Service, serving South Louisiana for 38 years. Find out how they can work for your business. Call them at 337-856-8383.